Hello, hello. Welcome to the Eclipse Evolution podcast. I'm your host, Savannah Rose. Thank you so much for joining us today, whether you're viewing, listening, or tuning in another way. We're so grateful to have you. And I'm so grateful to have a very special guest today, Kate Assaraf of DIP. It's an amazing clean beauty brand, and she's going to share so much about her brand. But I think the thing that really compelled me to have her as my guest today. Not only do I cherish and support sustainability, beauty, but when I see a woman, especially who's gone through a very unique journey, but really a journey about overcoming trials and staying true to themselves, that's what just really touches my heart. And I think you're gonna really love Kate's story today and love her brand as well and what she has to offer. So thank you so much for joining me, Kate. I would love for you to introduce yourself and then we'll get rolling.
Sure. Hi, my name is Kate Assaraf. I'm really honored to be here. It always feels very special to be invited onto a podcast like this. And I am the founder and CEO of DIP Haircare. And that is very serious hair care for not so serious people that just happens to be plastic free. It's, a big part of what I tried to do was eliminate this feeling of buying something sustainable and having it feel less than what you were using before. And that's everything that DIP stands for.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's so important. And I feel like you touched on something as soon as you said like the plastic free piece. My partner has gotten me so into just microplastic awareness. Like he's made me switch out all my cutting boards to wood, like all that kind of stuff. Oh, that's so interesting. Is that something you see often in just the cosmetic industry as a whole? I'm curious.
Not in the cosmetic industry, but I certainly see it in this kind of zero waste, this counterculture zero waste movement that's starting to gain traction. And, the cutting board thing is like, I'm so glad you even said that because it's one of those things we just don't realize are those little cuts you make with your food every day lead to ingestion of plastic. And the sooner you can just switch over to wood, the better. Thank you for bringing that up. That makes me really happy because we went through that transition not so long ago, maybe like 3-4 years ago. We're like, oh my God, the plastic in this cutting board is going to end up like in our blood. And I don't like to scare people into those things, but sometimes they're just true. And that swap is so easy. It should just be done today,
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I know. When I remember the first time he came over and he saw all my plastic cutting boards, he's like, girl, no. But yeah, so I'm grateful he switched them all out for me. But yeah, it's so true. I'm curious, like, how does your role, because you're a mom, which I love. I can't wait for that, like, official part of my journey to start. But as a mom, do you feel like that has influenced your passion for sustainability as well, since you have your little ones that are going to inherit the earth?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of twofold, right? Like now, I'm looking at them and I just see them surrounded in this world of plastic. And like, it's not just the accumulation of plastic on the planet, it's also just the health problems that come, after constant exposure to it. But, the whole reason I kind of got into this was because when I was pregnant with my first son, 10 years ago, my brother handed me this book and it was called Boys Adrift. And it was about like how to raise like a productive son or something like that. And one of the chapters in there, they had one on video games, they had one on like how fathers and sons don't like hunt anymore, and so they're not in tune with nature. And then one of the things they talked about was plastic, and how plastic, like runoff from a plastic factory, went into the Potomac River, and the male fish started laying eggs, and they saw that this hormonal disruption from plastic is like hurting aquatic life. And then, further down, like 10 years later, we're finding out that it's also just as bad for human health. And that's like, as a parent, that's frightening because 100 years ago, or pre 1906 or 1907, when plastic came around, like no one had to worry about these issues.
Right. It's kind of like that catch-22 of awareness. It's a blessing and a curse. We're like, okay, well, I'm glad I know about this, but also like, oh, yikes.
Yeah, I almost wish I could go back in time and be blissfully ignorant of the plastic crisis. I miss those days when I didn't know about it. But then once something becomes knowledge for you, the crazy thing, you just can't get rid of it. Like knowledge is crazy that way.
Yeah, I call that like the Wizard of Oz syndrome. It's like once you see behind the curtain, it's like you're done. That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it's exactly that. And so, you walk through like a supermarket or you walk through a Sephora or an Ulta and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be here forever. This is like who knows how that stuff is stored where the plastic like leaches into the products. Like you just have no idea. It's like a very scary thing, but it's also at a very exciting time of awareness where people are making swaps. So I don't want it to be all doom and gloom. Like the exciting thing is that like, wow, we're aware now, like way more aware than we were 10 years ago. And now the solutions are, and the substitutions are getting better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. I agree with you on that. I think it's, I have a teacher, I just did a class with her on Saturday, but she was saying how, like, with all these really big changes that are happening, like those of us who are aware and involved, like we are the keepers of the paradigm shift. Like
Yeah.
we're kind of have one foot in either world, like the old world of like the old way of being and the new way of being, and it's like such a huge responsibility, but also like wow, what a gift that like we get to really make a direct influence on not just our lives, but how we're shaping the next steps in the future, which I think is just a very relevant thing for a lot of us right now. I think especially just with the current climate and the vibes and energy that are happening right now, I think that that's something really encouraging. Is like, oh wow, like we can be the change makers.
I love hearing you position it that way as a paradigm shift that we're responsible for, and it's such a healthier way to position the change, right? Instead of like the finger waggling, like telling people to do stuff wrong all the time, because first of all, just your stepmother and mother, like both of those roles are so important to a family and to the health of the family. We're the ones usually doing the shopping, we're the ones in charge of the nutrition, we're in charge of, like, the responsibility is so big, and making people feel bad about their choices is just not it. It's like not the way to get people excited.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time, like, oh my god, like this is bad and now we are able to move forward and move past, and this is exciting, and the energy should be excitement, not eye rolls about sustainability. And I'm really trying to make that shift with you guys.
Absolutely. I think that's so important. I'm curious, like, how did you come into that perspective? Like, what was it, something on your journey specifically, or a number of things that have led you to embodying that kind of perspective?
Yeah, I think with any person, if you're lucky, you grow up a prismatic life, and you embrace changes, and you embrace hardship, and you embrace all the amazing miracles that happen along the way, and it turns you into whatever adult you turn out to be. And so I've always approached life that way, and I've had, I grew up very pretty poor. There's no nice way to say it, where I had to learn to like make my own clothes with my mom taught me how to make my own clothes. And like my mom was a professor of anthropology, so she taught me to be like tolerant of all different perspectives. And part of we were so poor, we were like in church funded housing, so we had to, part of our living arrangement was that we had to volunteer. So we would take donated clothes. So whenever you see donated clothing bins, my mom and I were on the receiving end of those, and we would sort them into different sizes and different, like genders for battered women to actually come and shop for their families. And so a big part of my love of owning a business is positioning it in a way where it is, I don't want to say woman forward, because it's not, it's for all hair types, and it's for men and women, but it's built with empathy for all different walks of people. And
Mm.
and the sustainable part of it is like in the when I was a kid and we were doing this sorting of clothes, there was something so amazing about donated clothes being repurposed because they were really amazing quality. And now you're fast forward to most clothes now are made out of plastic and are made for short term use, and to kind of, so now I imagine someone now donate, like sorting through donated clothes, and it's all kind of garbage, and it doesn't get repurposed. In fact, I think it's like something crazy, like 82% of donated clothes just end up in a landfill or in the desert in Chile. And that is
Mm.
crazy to me.
Yeah.
All sorts of things shape who you are. And that was one of them for sure.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. That's really powerful. It really is potent. It's very relatable. I feel like being able to have that kind of exposure as you're growing up it's not just humbling, but I feel like it gives you such an interesting perspective on just how other people live, and how even folks who maybe have like I always say, like, other countries I think are such a great example. I feel like it's a very uniquely American thing, like, to be super wasteful, because I think when I
Yes,
look at
it
other
is.
countries, and I'm very fortunate to have like my own family blended, and have people from like Mexico in my family, and just having grown up with people who are from other countries and such, it's like giving me such a unique perspective where like I saw people where it was, oh, if the lawnmower broke or whatever it was, like, they would take time to fix it, and they would
Absolutely.
keep it going until it really, really fell apart. And I think my own family embodied that, like with our cars or whatever it was, like we would always take time to like fix it, where I feel like I've seen this almost like shift over some time of like, it's broken, throw it away. And
Absolutely.
or like, not even if it's broken, if something new just comes out, throw
Yeah,
away the old one. It's like, oh,
totally. That's
yeah,
the iPhone culture is the perfect example of that.
yeah,
My iPhone works. Like I'll ride that thing till the wheels fall off because even though I can now afford to upgrade all the time and they have all these incentives, like the idea of taking something that works like fine, and the new model is just only fractionally better, like, but does the same thing. It's a very American cultural thing. And I think just like learning to live with less stuff is
mm-hmm,
actually can make you a happier person. My parents were also immigrants, so I mean they were very resourceful, and just, the fact that you like the choice to just throw something out instead of fix it is a huge luxury, but it's also just so detrimental to, like, I don't know, a sense of purpose. Like, nothing feels better than fixing something, I gotta say. The dopamine hit from buying something new is very short lived, but fixing something and having pride in the things that you own is
mm-hmm.
very satisfying.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I see that, like, that behavioral thing of I'd rather just like get something new or whatever. I see that also play out in relationships, because I work with couples sometimes, and I like in my life coaching side of my business, working with clients, like I see that kind of same mentality of like, oh, there's a issue relationally. Well, I'll just break up. It's like, oh no, like we
Yeah.
can work through this. And I see that really play out in so much American culture. And it's just really sad to see. But that's one of the things that made me just really fall in love with my partner, is like he can fix anything. And I see that, like,
True.
not just play out with like my washing machine or the thing that holds the toilet paper, whatever it is, like he'll fix anything in the house. But also I see that same mentality come through like in
Mhm.
our relationship. Like, we don't have disagreements often, but like when we do have something emotional come up, like he's like, what's the solution, let's fix this. And I think that
Yeah.
I would love to see that shift happen more, not just like sustainability wise with products and material things, but also like the relationship wise.
Yeah. Well,
It's all
e-
connected.
every shiny penny dulls, but it's worth the same, you know?
Oh, I like
And
that. Yeah.
I just came up with that right now. But like, with my, I've known my husband for 23 years. And, it like, of course, in those all those times when you've known someone for so long, there's ebbs and flows. What I love about him is that he never fights mean. He's a kind fighter, and I'm a kind fighter, and it just makes things so much easier if you're
Yeah,
just nice to each other when you don't agree.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And like setting those egos aside and like coming together, I think that's really one of the huge things for sure.
Yeah, if anyone's listening, find a kind partner. It's
Yep.
number one. It's the number one thing you should be looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned something when we were behind the scenes that I wanted to bring up, because I thought it was just really, really, I mean, not only do I agree with it and think it's fantastic, but I think it's something that people don't talk about a lot, where it's kind of unplugging from that digital addiction and how shopping is involved with that, and moving more towards like going in stores again and seeking out products in stores again. I think for me personally, as like someone who's very tuned into mindfulness and teaches a lot about that, that's what comes to my brain first, because I think when we're just like able to like boom, add to cart, buy it, like we're not being mindful in that process.
Totally.
And we probably spend like way too much. But I'm curious, like, what your perspective is on that, and kind of,
Sure.
I would love to learn more.
So my company DIP, we're shampoo and conditioner bars. That's the bulk of our business. But what I'm trying to do is kind of much bigger and it's loftier. And, you might roll your eyes at this, but like I really want people to shop in stores again. And I think that what we've lost as kind of human beings is that person to person kind of social contract of like, I'm selling you something and I'm looking you in the eye when I'm selling it, instead of like this very fast to consume, add to cart stuff that's out there. You buy something because of fake or dishonest or coerced reviews, right? And then you purchase something online, it comes to you and you realize that it's not that great. This experience happens all the time, right? And now you're either stuck with something or you have to deal with like an AI customer service bot.
Oh, God.
The and that company's running away with your money. Like they're because really, if you do a cost benefit analysis of your time, you're like, it's not worth arguing with this bot if I can't get like this and I have to pay a restock fee and all this stuff. Like it's become a digital hellscape. It's
Yeah,
just really what I want to call it.
for sure.
But on the other hand, the person that kind of protects you from that kind of behavior is the store owner in your town. That store owner has to look you in the eye when they're selling you something. But not only that, they're vetting every version of a product before they put it on their shelves. They have to invest in something that they believe will sell. And so I think people forget that, like, you can skip online reviews and go straight to a store and ask someone like, hey, what do you think about, dip versus competitor? And they're like, I stock dip because it's, amazing. Like that's generally, I've had store owners call me from their towel that have never had a shampoo or conditioner bar work so well. Like they're like, I can't believe the conditioner actually works. And like that is very, very important to me because I want people to go in and have that experience that is very honest. Like I'm not within earshot, like they can say like I stock dip because I've tried them all and this one is the best. And like I think on another layer of that, I sell in mostly women-owned small stores where those are mothers and a lot of them are educating people about the environment and the plastic-free movement. So if I can get someone in one of these stores to sell dip, like perhaps they're also going to replace their paper towel addiction with reusables, or maybe they'll find, a replacement for like saran wrap or Ziploc bags or literally any of these household things that you just consume that really aren't great for your health.
Absolutely. I love that. I love how it's connected to so much, and it just is very much an embodiment of just the power of the ripple effect.
Yeah. And it's fun. Like it's fun to know. I know the store owners by name. I know you're in Atlanta. There's Veronica. She owns Joyful Yara. So it's joyful and then Jarra. She even just expanded recently and has even more locations. And so she is an amazing entrepreneur that in Atlanta that, is very, very rooted in the plastic free movement. And it's these types of entrepreneurs are all over the place. I'm super proud to, send people to her store instead of me capturing the full, like a high margin sale online. Like I share the wealth with these women all around the country. And I think it's cool. I think it's important. And I think people are tired of buying stuff and being disappointed. That's number one.
For sure. I mean, absolutely that. And, you remind me of how you mentioned a little while ago of like how men don't really hunt as much as they used to or anymore, and how it's disconnected them from nature. Hearing you and how you prioritize this connection, like this village, even if it's maybe not like right in your backyard, how this connection to other female-owned businesses is kind of like creating that tribe again. And as women, like we really do, like we're built for that community. We're built for the tribe. And I think that's something I've seen kind of with this paradigm shift is inviting that back in, like not isolating ourselves anymore with whether it's because of like internalized misogyny or just an imbalance in like the masculine and feminine, whatever it is. Like I'm seeing so much more of a movement of like women coming together and supporting each other and not having competition and you eat, I eat, we're all eating. Like I think that's so important.
We need each other. I don't care what anyone says. But since the beginning of humans have been around for, tens of thousands of years. we need each other. We've been built to need and specialize and share, and like all, it's crazy now that we're all siloed in our homes adding things to carts instead of, a lot of people aren't even going into an office anymore. Not that the office is that important, but there was some kind of camaraderie with the people you've been worked with.
Right.
I know a lot of people are now remote to the point where like they don't leave their house.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll walk their dog, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is kind of delivered. And I understand convenience is one thing, but like we're not wired for that. We're wired for interaction and laughter and pain and endurance. Like there's so many beautiful things about being a human being that I think are kind of like robbed from us when we're sitting in our homes. And,
Yeah.
you know?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I think down here in Georgia, we've had probably the rainiest summer that I can remember, and
Yeah.
it's making me a little crazy because I'm such a like sunshine girly, and I love to like get out and go to the pool with my bestie and like have all the kids playing and all. Like it's just it makes my soul happy. It feeds my soul, and then to be kind of feeling like that cooped up in my house, like I can go maybe a day, but when it's like 2-3 days in a row, I'm a different person. I'm like, I need sun. Like, oh yeah. So
Yeah,
I feel you.
I think most people are like that because you're supposed to have some sort of like circadian rhythm. You're supposed to have exposure to the sun and exposure to birds chirping, like all of the stuff that you forget make like that you forget we're part of the human experience for so long. It's only been like the past 100 years, or I'd say even less, 25 years, that we don't spend as much time outside as a species. And that's crazy. We don't adjust to cold and hot the same way we used to. We just kind of make it comfortable.
Right.
It's kind of like it's kind of it this shift that we're talking about, I think, is a bigger thing. I think we need to kind of break out of our comfort and just be a little bit uncomfortable again.
Yes.
You know?
I love that. No, that's so true. Like, and I laugh just because, I mean, I just resonate with it because I don't know, when it comes down to like my own philosophy, I do really try to educate people on that message of like this addiction to comfort that has kind of been like conditioned into us, where it keeps us complacent. And I teach a lot about burnout recovery specifically, and how like we have these things that numb us to like the burnout, and that's like how we get to that place of just like falling the hell apart, is like we are like numbing, and we're just like grabbing whatever helps us feel like quote comfortable. But it just more and more, I don't know, just like this festering of like true discomfort. It's like just this illusion. So yeah, I love what you're saying.
I love the illusion part is so real,
Yeah.
because before you know it, you're just kind of like, oh, this is my new baseline. Air conditioning in the heat in the winter, like, oh, it's snowing, I'm not going to go outside. Like, oh, raining, I'm not going to do it. Like, I mean, we just become like, we're climate controlled.
Yeah.
It's and I don't think we were meant to be that way. And that's a very like hippy dippy way of looking at the world, but I don't really care. I think it's cool.
Listen, you're in a safe space. This is the hippy dippy zone. Like, don't you worry. I'm about it. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's really important. And I think the world could embrace more hippy dippy, because I mean, I think there's I think like with this paradigm shift is just like a coming home to like you said, just like our humanness, and how like that is a beautiful thing, and it's messy and it can be painful, but like you were saying earlier, just like learning how to embrace that discomfort, or embrace the challenging things, or embracing rather than resisting. I think that you are able to gain from that, and it not just be something that you have to get through necessarily.
Totally. And I think, when you were talking about like repairing items, I think repairing relationships and going through I think we're in a weird culture where people like do break off relationships with family, with long-term friends, instead of kind of, taking out the needle and thread and sewing it back together, like in the name of boundaries or in the name of whatever. And I don't know if that is really how we were supposed to be either. Like, I think and I'm not saying forgive everyone for everything, but like, I would love to see people talk more about getting through uncomfortable conversations and fixing things than what we see right now. What I see, and I like bombarded with this kind of, digital noise, is like it's okay to cut off your family. It's okay to cut off like all, and like here are the red flags in human beings. Everyone is like a mix of flags.
Yeah, that's so real. Yeah.
Like you got to figure out what the totem pole, like what the flags go where for you, I guess. But like,
Yeah.
I've never met anyone that was red flag free.
Right.
Like everyone's a mix of such cool stuff.
For sure.
And I think the one flag we can all agree on is like treating waiters poorly.
Oh yes, thank you for that. That's a good one for sure.
That's one that for me is a deal breaker, no matter who you
Yeah.
are. But luckily, like most people that's my filtering system. But most people I know treat people with kindness. I don't know that you agree. Like most people you encounter are pretty cool.
For sure, for sure. And I think that it's like also something you attract as well, when you embody that and make that one of your values. Yeah, I 100% agree with you with what you're sharing and just like the reflection. I feel like I have so much in my brain of like, yes, this is like, just eat that up. I love it. It's just really exciting to hear, and I think it's I'm just so grateful when I can have like such kick-ass people like yourself on my podcast, like to share this kind of story, because I think that it's a narrative that needs to become, again, with that paradigm shift, like the new normal essentially, of just like, hey, this is something like kindness is cool, okay, like let's just all get on board with that.
And it's
Yeah.
easy.
Yes.
Not only is it cool, it's freaking easy to be nice to people. Like I don't understand the resistance to being kind. Like we've seen like the rise of, we call them the Karen. It's not fair to the Karens out there because I know a lot
I
of
know.
but like we see the rise of the Karens, and like I see it in just the consumer space. I've talked with a lot of fellow entrepreneurs, and they're like, have you guys noticed that people are just becoming meaner and meaner? And I think I'm like, it's not the people, it's you're receiving, because you're answering a customer call, you're receiving all of the frustration from 10 companies before you that stuck that person in AI, or stuck them in like a bot, or stuck them with like a canned email response to a very real problem. And so like a big part of my company is always having a human on the other side of customer service, because like it's my company would be nothing without its customers. So why wouldn't you treat the customers well, even if they're upset with something? Like we're like, oh yeah, you make a great point, and like let's figure out how to come up with a solution. And so you see a lot of people, once they finally get a human, they're so angry. Like I'm lucky, my customers aren't really angry. I get like maybe one or two of those a year, but that's because I treat them really well. But like just in the forums I am with my entrepreneur friends, they're like, people are getting angry, and I'm like, I don't think they're angry with you. I think they're angry with how they're treated in general as customers, as the people spending their hard-earned money with your companies, and those companies just making it impossible for them to have a human experience.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Oh, you're making me think of an experience I had to do last week, just having to deal with the internet. Like, oh my gosh, it was just like, speak to representative, like just driving me
Agent.
Yeah.
You're trying so hard. Like, I just want to talk to someone because what your canned answers aren't answering my problem.
Right.
And that's like that. It's like so frustrating being a consumer in today's world. And like part of our brand that actually makes it really special is we don't use influencers, and we don't use like fake user generated content.
Yeah.
Like you only see people who are actual customers of the product that have paid for it on our feed, which I think it shouldn't be special, but it is. And that is really kind of fun for me, because I turned something that I saw was a frustration, like people are tired of seeing paid promotions. I was like, well, what if we just don't do that? Yeah, like as soon as you see something sponsored, for the most part, people are like, next, no,
Yep.
no. And that's been a really fun, special marketing test for me. That's ended up being like one of our biggest assets.
Absolutely. It's heroic. I love it. Yeah, and I love that that's something you're inviting into this paradigm shift as well, because you're so right. Like I remember, like gosh, maybe just a few years ago, it would be like if I was shopping online or looking for something like filter by 5 stars and up, and I'd be like, okay, well this has 5 stars and there's 3,000 reviews, it must be good. But then when you really look at them, it's like,
yeah,
it's not real. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so.
And it's only going to get worse now that AI can mimic typos, like spelling errors, like really look like real customers. I know someone not in my industry, in a different industry, who uses AI review software. So like it really does look like people with spelling errors, all this stuff, like real people, and it's just not. And so again, the antidote for that, for just having a real experience, is going into a store and talking with someone. Like it's the best defense we can have against like just the nonsense that's out there. I call it pollution. I call it digital pollution, because that's exactly,
I like that.
it's like just littering the internet with fake stuff. And I'm not just talking about AI in general, because it is amazing, and I'm not anti AI, but I'm anti fake authenticity. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
always like an oxymoron, like fake authenticity. Like, it like blows my mind that companies use this marketing tactic. I understand why they do, because they need social proof, but like also it's not social proof. It's just gobbledygook, like put in front of consumers, and it's not fair. It's not cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, no, you're so right. It drives me insane too. But that's something that when I was introduced to you and your team presented you to me, that I was like, "Ooh, yes, I like this about her," because that's something that I myself just really cherish. And one of the reasons why I broke off from like the corporate world to do my own practice was like the values aspect, being able to not just like have like, this is our mission statement and these are our values, and it's just like a bunch of garbage. It's like, no, like actually, how do you walk the walk? Like how do you like make those choices consciously as a business owner, or even just in your personal life, that align with like what you really believe and what you really want to cultivate. And that's something I loved about your story, and love that you're doing, is by being so intentional with your process of wanting this to be something that is just like sewn in with love, like sewn in, like integrated into like the person, like and I think that I say love because that's what it is. Like you're loving not just the person who's consuming it, but like you're loving the process, loving all the hands that are connecting and getting it from here to here. Like I think that it, like having that woven into your process, is not just a recipe for like success, but I think it's just, again, I say cultivate. It's just a way to really cultivate from the ground up, like something beautiful.
Yeah. I really genuinely love what I do. Like I spring out of bed. I love that I can talk about hair every day. I love talking about sustainability and giving people like an option that is really excellent. Like, just, I didn't mention it earlier, but the shampoo is so gentle. You can use it every day if you want. So I'm a runner, and every day I'm running in the woods, and like, that choice between your workout and a good hair day is something that we make all the time. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to make my own shampoo, it's going to solve this problem. So that's the shampoo. You don't have to wash your hair every day, but you could if you wanted to. And then the conditioner, it lasts so long. It's, you buy one conditioner bar for $32. It can replace 12 tubes of like Oribe Gold Lust or Pureology or Kerastase. It saves me $500 a year just in conditioner from what I was using. So like, and it also detangles your hair immediately after swimming. So if you come out of the ocean or if you come out of the pool, you dip the bar in water, run it down your hair, you air dry and go. It's like instantly. So like I wanted to solve those two problems. I wanted to never bring a bottle of conditioner to the beach because I'm enjoying the beach and looking at the ocean, and meanwhile using something plastic that I know like harms it. So I was like, these are the problems. I surf terribly, but I swim a lot, and I run every day, and I know there's lots of women like me that want really good stuff that actually works. And the fact that the conditioner bar saves you so much money is just like a chef's kiss for me for sustainability, because sustainability has such a bad reputation for like ripping people off, I guess is the nicest way to say it. Like people buy like a sustainable version of something and they're angry. Like this is the exact opposite of what I intended to do. Like I wanted to buy something that I would never have to like replace again, or that would be gentler on the earth. And instead, like the sustainable thing I bought is going to go straight in the trash, So that's really, like, my company was built out of frustration with the current kind of marketing out there, the current kind of products available. It was just like, I can solve these problems and I'm going to do it. And it's been really, really just so fun, and I love it.
for you. That makes me so happy, because I think inviting fun into the process is something that also should be normalized. Like, I think that when you are doing something that you love, like, you do jump out of bed and you are, I think, like, on like those tough days, because business is not like all puppies and kittens as much as I wish, but on those like tough days, like, it's that love of what you're doing that like helps you just like stay focused on like what you want to cultivate and what you're working towards. And then like everything has those ebbs and flows, but when we're in that ebb, it just allows us to have that, well, for no pun intended, that sustainability.
Yeah.
But it's so true. And as like a long-haired girly, like, I cannot wait to try your products, because I say that chemistry like ruined me, because after really learning like what like the actual words meant, and like how like the different like ingredients will be like tweaked a little bit here, because something might say like, oh, it's sulfate free or whatever, but then it has like sulfonate, and I'm over here like, that has one more sulfur add. Like, I like go all the way down like molecular, and it just makes me so mad. That's why I'll be in the shampoo aisle for like 20 minutes just like reading everything, like, nope, that has crap. And so I'm so excited to try your product.
Oh my God, I'm excited for you to try it too, because your hair is so long and beautiful, and like, it's gonna blow your mind that you ever bought bottled conditioner, especially. Like, the shampoo is very specific. It's so gentle. Like, if you're listening and you wear a lot of like hairspray or hair gel, like the dip shampoo is not the one for you, because it is too gentle to really take out gels. But if you run every day, like, it's a godsend, because you can like, you don't have to worry. Like, you don't have to worry about that stripped oil feeling, or like the, that squeaky clean feeling, because it takes care of that for you. I made sure of it. And it works for all hair types. That's like, you just shop your scent.
I love it. I'm so excited. It makes me so happy. And I love like the bar aspect, because I remember I tried a shampoo bar a couple years ago, and it was just such a game changer. I love that that's like how you've created your product, because I think it's not only was it like so easy to travel with and you can just like take it everywhere, but it just, I feel like it gives you more control over like the quantity that you use as well.
Yes, absolutely. And the placement. So even if you have like little kids, you can put it, you can totally avoid, putting it on around their eyes, or like obviously like in their hair. You don't, it's just a lot more controlled and liquid that kind of slips through your fingers and goes everywhere. I also love, because my kids, when I did have bottled conditioner and shampoo, they would make potions when I wasn't.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, like, no, it's my good stuff, mommy's good stuff. And so now, the conditioner bar will last you a year for most people. And so I'd say maybe like 8 months to sometimes 2 years for some, depending on how often you shower. And like, you can't even use the thing fast enough if you wanted to. It's really actually kind of fun. People will be like, I've been using this conditioner bar for like 2 months and it looks the same as when I got it. And I'm like, that's the whole point. Like, I don't want you shopping all the time. I want you to love it so much that you tell your friends about it. And that is kind of how the company grew. It's total word of mouth.
That's how you know you're doing something right, is when it's word of mouth, for sure. That's powerful.
Yeah, it's been really nice. We've never had to run like a TikTok or a Facebook or Instagram ad, or we've never done that. People find dip on their own. They find it from their sisters, their best friends, like it's come through like a network of people. Like, I can tell when a whole group of people has gone surfing in the same town, because one person must have had dip, and then like everyone else buys it. So I mean, it's really, really cool. And it's a big source of pride in such, I say like everyone's digitally bombarded by our competitors, but they still stick with dip, and that makes me so happy, and it makes me appreciate my customers more than ever.
That's so special. And one final thing I wanted to touch on was just, I wanted to really zoom in on you, Kate, because again, I just wanted to share just how unique you are as a person. And I mean, of course, I love your mission. I love your products. I can't wait to try them. I'm so excited. But I think, again, like, just what really made me like want to meet you and connect with you is just because when I see someone who is like walking the walk and who is walking in their values, that's something that is just so exciting for me, and something that I like respect the hell out of. And so I would just love to learn a bit more about you and like your process in getting to this point, because I know that there are some challenges, especially like when it comes down to like the beginning. And I know your team was mentioning to me how like you really learned like what success meant to you, and how like you had to kind of like understand how success was influencing your sense of self-worth, because that's something that I've really had to unwind personally and unlearn in some ways, is like, if I'm this much productive, or if I do all this, or if I'm like doing the most essentially, then that means I'm like a good person, or I'm successful, or whatever it is. And then it like led to that burnout cycle, and it wasn't like loving myself enough to like just take those rest days and everything. So I would love to know like your journey, like your perspective on like success, and how like that has resonated with you.
So this isn't my first rodeo. DIP is the second brand I've launched. The first brand I launched was a similar category. It was called Nope, NOAP, and it was a shampoo and conditioner bars also. And I didn't have the confidence to start the company on my own, so I took on a partner. And really, I learned very quickly in that process that what we wanted did not align. And one of my biggest regrets in business ever was bringing on a partner and sharing my dream, because you can never, like, passion is not transferable. It doesn't transfer from one person to the other. So when the vision for my partner was to have a huge brand and like have it everywhere and all these things, and my vision was, is this what DIP is today? A really like amazing company that donates to the causes that I care about, that treats people with respect, that isn't huge and unmanageable, that's something that allows me to spend time with my family. Like, and closing that first company that I spent 4 years kind of building and researching or whatever, I mean, it almost killed me. Like really and literally, like I was so sad when it went away, because I think in America we put so much of our heart and soul into our careers.
Totally.
And when I had to dissolve the company, like that was just the fate of it. And like I had worked so hard and had little kids at the time that I did not feel like human anymore. I almost was like catatonic. I've never experienced that in my life, where I was that level of depressed, where I did not want to be alive. Like, if you look at my Google searches during that time, I was like, how to put yourself in a coma. I just wanted to get out of being sentient, if that makes sense. And I've never ever, like, I'm known for, among my friends, being like someone that's full of joy in life. And during that time, when I was closing the company, was like, I was wasting away to nothing. I dropped so much weight that I was unrecognizable. I lost my vision, and I had to wear like an eye patch in one eye, because my vision was so bad, because I wasn't able to like eat or stomach, and my teeth were chattering all the time. And like, I mean, I lost my mother and my stepmother, who were both so dear to me. And I would say the business closing was so much harder on my soul, and that is crazy. It's crazy looking back.
I get it though. Yeah, it's real.
Like, I let it affect me that way. And so when I started DIP, I was like, you know what? Okay, I have an opportunity to make the best tasting lemonade in the world. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to make the products a million times better. And I think that they are. And I'm like, and I'm going to make the branding so much cooler. And I am going to work to get my sense of self back. And now, so I started DIP. The first 18 months, I did it completely on my own. And then I brought on my husband to help. And then my factory, it was crazy. The manufacturer that was making our products went bankrupt after taking like a big purchase order from us. And so then I was like, you know what? I'm never going to let myself be in this position again. I'm going to make my own factory. And so I hired, people, and built a factory. And now I have my own American factory, which is now very rock and roll. But like,
Oh my gosh, look at you.
And this year we've hired 3 people.
Wow.
The economy is shrinking, but DIP is growing. And the fact that we have this team it's like so incredible. Like, it's almost like the happiness I feel running my company now is like attracting like the best team in the world. Like, the team is like, it blows my mind that they're so cool. And 2 of the new people on DIP were both former refill store owners, and that had to geographically move far away from their stores, so they had to like close that. And I was like, you're exactly the right person for the job. Like, come on in and like be part, and like I'm sorry, I'm getting like too excited talking about it, but like
Yep, no such thing. Go off. I'm just here. I'm like over here like getting like misty-eyed. I'm like, oh.
emotional side of being able to like create something that then feeds all these people and we're all excited about it. Like this it's like it is the coolest feeling in the world. And I can't believe, it's just 5 years ago that I was thinking about ending it all. Like it wasn't a little, like it wasn't like a thought, the fleeting thought. It was my obsession every day. I was like, I do not want to be alive anymore. And like that's something that you see a lot in like business divorces and like actual divorce. If somebody you're divorcing from like a marriage divorce or like a tough partner, or like there are people that are just like, I just don't want to be in this anymore. Like how do I turn the page and get to the next chapter? But it's hard. Like those experiences make you super thankful for the little things. And they also changed how I felt about work and my company doesn't drive me, like, and it now is like a separate piece of my life instead of a part of my heart. Even though I love my company very much, like I now have learned the lesson that if it goes away, I will still be a happy person. Which I didn't, that there's a lesson you just have to learn. It's hard.
I totally oh gosh, Kate, I can like I just want to like hug you. I'm like, oh yeah, so I love it. And I like can 100% relate in my own way, like with just when you give, like you really give your life like to, sorry, my birds are a little fussy
I
right
love that you
now.
have birds. I think it's so cool.
I got a couple parakeets, and sometimes like I don't know, it's like they know when I'm doing a podcast because they're like, we want to say something too. But I can totally relate to like just like that giving your life and like not having like that healthy detachment or that
Yeah.
healthy separation, or just like the balance aspect, and how it can just, yeah, like I can relate so much like to the physical aspect, because when I was at like peak burnout, I was like super little, not healthy, like numbing, like had head to toe like blister, psoriasis, just like stress. Like
Yeah.
it was like a huge wake up call.
I lost all of my hair. My hair was falling out in clumps. It was
Yeah.
so sad. No, I don't. I mean, like my hair was my favorite thing about myself, and like it was just falling out every day, every time I showered. It's crazy how the body shows the signs of the stress. I don't know how long it took for you to get out of it, but I'm still like I'm still in repair. Like I think
Yeah.
you go through that trauma, like you're repairing. People expect you that you bounce back just because you look like yourself again, but it takes forever to get out of
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of you know like all your systems are changed, like at a cellular level. Your body is
Yeah.
like, okay, like we've been through a really tough time, it's time to always be in protection mode. And divorced from your brain like is your body and its behavior and your nervous system. And so like I don't know how much you have worked on your parasympathetic nervous system, but it's something I work on every day as a result of it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, because I've been, I would say, free of the corporate world for 2 years now. I'm very grateful. It was 2 years last month, and then like, gosh, I want to say like 6-ish months. I don't know exactly. After that, that's when I went through. It wasn't quite a divorce. It was just an engagement. We weren't married, but like ended a super unhealthy, abusive relationship. So it was like this 1 year, like these two huge, like boom, things were like that
Huge.
giving my life to, but that were also destroying me. Like I had to end both of those at the same time, basically, and then yeah, even 2 years down the road, like in a year and a half, like from the breakup, even though like I love my business and I have like that autonomy and I can take time to rest, and even though I'm in like an amazing healthy relationship now with like my dream man, it's like that unlearning piece, like you're mentioning, like it does take time, like just to like notice and become aware of those thoughts. But then it's like that nervous system piece, like just the
Crazy.
nervous system of like, oh, this is like my body remembering something, and gotta like
Yeah.
release it and let it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know like I didn't know like how to get rid of the feeling of the aftermath. I was like, I chopped all my hair off. I like did all the thing. Like I went like crazy for a minute. Like, well, not for a minute. I think I'm still in repair mode, even though it's been 5 years. And I think that I try and not focus on. the bad, but the bad makes you what you are. As I was saying before, like you're a
Mm-hmm.
prism, like there's so many, so many beams of light coming from all different sides.
Mm-hmm.
There are some shadows in your life, and like those moments of darkness, and that even when they're super dark, like they change you, and hopefully they change you for the better. The ideal, like hopefully they don't make you it like kind of make you calloused and bitter about everything that comes next, because the things that come next can be so amazing. And in my case, like I never imagined that I would restart, and like, but it became a necessity because I had two little kids and I lost all my money, and anything I'd ever earned was gone, and we had to make something happen.
Yeah.
Kids will help you do that. Like you look at their
Mm-hmm.
little faces and you know that they're like relying on you, but we couldn't afford any, like it was crazy. I don't know. I'll just leave it at that, to be honest.
I feel you, but you're so right. Like the desert periods in life, I think that like that's something I've been like meditating on recently. Man, they are fussy. My gosh, they're just like looking at me like, Mom, we want some treats. Oh my gosh, the humanity. I'm in the same room with them, and I'm not giving them treats every 5 minutes, but they're so silly. But yeah, like the desert period, like that kind of philosophy of like how it can feel like this barren landscape, and it
Yeah,
can feel desolate, and it can feel like there's no resources available. But I think in those desert periods, like when we're able to embrace and just make that choice, like I've
absolutely.
seen in just our conversation with you, is like you made that choice of like, I'm gonna make something out of this situation. And I think that's when we're like, oh, like I'm not alone, there are little
Mhm.
critters here in the desert. Oh, like if I'm
Yeah,
in the desert period, that means that water is nearby. Like
right.
life can still happen in this space. And then you do come upon the oasis. And it sounds like you're in the oasis now, but that
Yeah,
like the desert period was just as important.
yeah. It's the desert period has made me learn to run my company exactly the way that I do. And the way that we run our company is such that people are very excited about it. And I feel so grateful. And it's the reason we don't sell on Amazon, is to protect our small stores. And it's the reason people like will go from our website, they'll abandon their cart and go right into their closest store or salon or surf shop. And like that is brings me so much joy, because you know, we all choose the places that we live, and you want your purchases and your money to reinvest in your own community. And the best way to do that, the best way to enrich your libraries, enrich your schools, enrich your fire departments, your EMTs, is to shop in your own town. And that is, I hope that message kind of resonates with people, and they think about buying, locally, whatever it is.
Absolutely. Well, Kate, I've had just the best time connecting with you. I feel like it was so aligned that we came together today, because I respect not just your mission, but just I'm really glad that I've been able to connect with you as a person. I just really admire you, and I just hope we can stay in touch as we just continue on our journeys. But I would love you to share with our viewers and our audience like how people can just, whether it's stay connected with you on your, like you as a person, and also like how they can find DIP in maybe their town, and just how can we keep the cake going in our world.
Well, okay, so for if you're interested in the products, go to dipalready.com. And then I am the person behind the Instagram. If you want to talk, I love being in touch with our customers. So at Dip Already on Instagram and at Dip Already on TikTok. And then if you want to just drop me a message, you can go to my LinkedIn. If you type in Kate Assaraf, that's me holding the dip bar. So you can find me there. I love to hear from everyone, especially from people that, are so aligned. And this podcast has been such a joy, and I appreciate it so much, you having me on here.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well. And thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you've enjoyed our conversation. And I really do hope you check out DIP and check out Kate. I don't think you'll be disappointed, because it was just such a delight today for me just to, again, connect with you. So thank you. And thank you all for tuning in. And I will check in with all of y'all later. So bye for now. But thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.